Welcome to my show. I am calling Making the Rounds with Curry Ninja MMA. I'm calling it Making the Rounds because I'm going to tell you who I'm liking and what rounds I like. In other words, it's just going to be over 1.5 or not. If I like it to go over 1.5 or not, and I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win. So I think, yeah, keep it here every single week. We're going to go through, I think, 12 of these fights here. I'll try to get it as pretty much the entire card on here. So first of, right off the bat, we're going to start this card with Pat Sabatani versus Chepe Mariscal. Butchering these names already, at featherweight. It's weird because I wasn't right away. I was actually thinking Chepe is a good dog, and I do think he's still a good dog. Almost kind of leaning Sabatani just because of the grappling edge, and Mariscal, he's a tricky fighter. That's why I liked him as a dog, but I think he's just less tested. And so I think over 1.5 rounds, I do think it goes more often than not, it goes over 1.5 rounds. So I think you can sprinkle on the dog. If the odds are getting pretty decent on him, I think it's worth a sprinkle. If you don't like that, I think over 1.5 in a separate parlay is good as well. And Sabatani, I want you guys to let me know in the comments. Do you think Sabatani, if he does win, does he get it by sub because of grappling experience, or is he going to get it by decision? Those could be good props to look at there. So yeah, I think take it what you will, or just skip it. It's just nice to have some early action on. Now, some more fights, or the next fight that we can have some more early action on. Maybe you put these together in a parlay. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cody Haddon at bantamweight. Really looking forward to this one. It's such a banger, dude. Actually, it's weird because I like Wellmaker here. I think he opened up as a dog. I think he's a slight favorite now. And I know a lot of people might be taking Haddon, but looking at tape, I think, he comes in. He was, I think, a slight favorite. I think he was. Yeah, he opened up as a slight favorite. And so when I was watching tape with him, though, I think Haddon, he just kind of like he'll fight for your money in a way, if you want to put it that way. He's really aggressive, but he can get hit though because that aggressive forward pressure kind of style, and even with the scrambles. I mean, he's a good fighter. It's just that I think it's a really good matchup for Wellmaker because Wellmaker, he's even before he got in the UFC, watching you tape on him, I remember he'd have that nice. He wouldn't even load up. He just has that power. He'll snipe you, and I think Haddon is going to come in there against three throwing. Wellmaker's going to be, try to block it, and he's going to look for that kill shot. And I think Wellmaker can actually get it done here. I think Wellmaker by maybe even by KO, if you want to sprinkle on that, is good. And that's why over 1.5, it's just a maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's really worth it in a separate parlay. You have to look at the odds. If the odds are really good on over 1.5, maybe it's worth it. But I'm not confident on the over 1.5 at all. I think Wellmaker can get it done, and Haddon's really wild with his strikes, so something can happen there. But yeah, and it's bantamweight. So I mean, yeah, if you have decent odds on over 1.5, go for it. But I think Wellmaker's is a good dog here, or rather, he's a good play. Now he's a favorite, and I think Wellmaker by KO is good to sprinkle on too. Moving on. This is an interesting one. My big favorite. Baisangar Susurkayev versus Eric Mikoniko at middleweight here. Of course, not a hot take, but I think Susurkayev, he's got to win this, right? Mikoniko is less experienced, and I do think so. I think I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I think Susurkayev wins it, and actually, it's interesting here. I think it goes over 1.5 more often than not, so I have to look at that too. I think Susurkayev is a good crazy favorite. He's okay with your parlays, right? I mean, but it might be a parlay burner. So you might, who knows, maybe have over 1.5 in a separate parlay, depending on how good the odds are. But yeah, I'll just leave it at what it is. I mean, do you think that Mikoniko is a good dog? Let me know in the comments if you think it's a good dog, or if you just want to leave Subscribe out of your parlays. Because remember, guys, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Because it can burn you, man. It can happen. But still, I think he should win it. He's aggressive. He's got to get done. Over 1.5, separate parlay. Anyway, going on. Let's go. Keep going. So another good banger, Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. Jack Obama, RoboCop, whatever you want to call him. This is a middleweight. I got to go with Rodriguez here. It's just, he has that finishing ability. And Kopylov has those flaws. I remember when he was running Costa, it was always secret juice. I wish I would have just really sprinkled more on Costa. I remember calling that. I was like, he's a good dog. I think he could take it. He's getting doubted. But Kopylov, he's good on the feet. He has some defensive holes there. I think Rodriguez, he can get a nasty gash, which I don't even want to see again. That nasty gash on his forehead. I'm not even gonna put it on the screen. I'll spare you guys. But I remember he'll just keep going. I think he'll go into it. So I think over 1.5, actually, that's a good one too. I mean, they're both middleweights, but I think I think they're pretty durable, and they're gonna kind of bang it out. So I think starts on 2 over 1.5. That's good for a separate parlay, and Rodriguez in another parlay if you want, or just play it straight up depending on the odds. Let's keep going, guys. Now, Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein, women's strawweight here. Very interesting. I mean, of course, I got to go with Klein here. I mean, but it's weird. Hill, she's a vet, and she shows like she's been there, man. She's been in that gatekeeper kind of position for a long time. But she's fought the who's who, and she's actually looked good recently too. I mean, she's not looking bad. Her Muay Thai is always good there. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Klein's heavily favored here. I mean, in Hill's a durable veteran, so I mean, it is women's MMA, which I know everyone it's like a meme, but it's like the Wild West, man. It's crazy. Heavyweights and women's MMA, you just a lot of times some crazy things can happen. This is MMA in general, right? But yeah, I mean, I was high on Fatima Klein before she comes in the UFC, and I think she's really well rounded. She's younger. She's probably going to be. I think she's going to get a decision here. Over 1.5, yeah, for sure. It's going to be chalky as hell, but that's fine as separate parlay. I think Fatima Klein is fine as separate parlay as well, and I do think. Yeah, you know what? And if you know what, if you find good odds on it, you could even put as a little pre-hedge if you want. I think Angela Hill by decision. That could be fun because that could be a nice little pre-hedge or a nice sprinkle. It's it could be worth it just the odds wise. So yeah, I'll leave it. Just let me know in the comments what you're gonna do with that. Kyle Dawkins versus Gerald Mearshart at middleweight. Yeah, I mean no high techs here. Like I gotta go with Dawkins here, and I do think it goes over 1.5 rounds more often than not. I mean he's a big favorite though, but Mearshart he's a veteran, but I mean he's on the decline. We know guys, and Dawkins should control the pace, control the fight, and get the win here. And I don't think he's going to get an immediate finish. I mean, we could see a finish here, though. I don't know if it's going to go to decision. I don't really, but yeah, I could see him getting a decision, a finish here. So, but I think over 1.5 rounds is okay in another parlay as well, a separate parlay, sure. But yeah, I think Dawkins is a good. He should get it done, dude. He should get it done. All right, moving on. Let's go. Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez in the women's flyweight. I got to go with Blanchfield here. Of course, not a hot take, but she's got the momentum on her side, and I do expect her to win. A decision probably. Most likely not in a hot take. So I think over 1.5 rounds is totally fine. Erin Blanchfield in a parlay and over 1.55. You know what? What do you think about this? What about a women's MMA parlay? You could do friggin' Fatima Klein and Blanchfield together, or you can even mix and match it. Maybe Blanchfield plus Fatima Klein over 1.5, or Fatima Klein money line and then Blanchfield over 1.5. Mix it how you want. Let me know what you're gonna do. I think that's gonna hit more often than not. So I think that's nice. Probably chalky, but hey, I'd rather have a chalky parlay that hits than one that doesn't. Anyway, whatever that means. Okay, let's keep going. Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira at middleweight. It's gonna be an interesting one. Of course, everyone in the brother is gonna bet Nickel, and you know what? I don't care about hot takes. I care about good takes. I've always said that. And yeah, I'm going to go with Nickel here. And as far as it going 1.5, it's weird. It kind of jumped out at me. I thought maybe it does, but now I'm really at a maybe. I think it's a coin flip. Vieira's got the grappling threat there. And that's why it's interesting. It's an interesting fight. It could end early, but I think it goes over 1.5 rounds more often than not. I think it's weird because Nickel, it's like he's got the wrestling or that overhand right. It's just like when you see him doing that, it's just man. I hope his striking has evolved a little more, and I hope he has made the improvements. Seen the errors in his ways. But Vieira, I mean, he's like just on all the secret juice. He's jacked, and his cardio will fade. Because I think he's just like sub or bust essentially, and I think it's going to be very interesting. I think if Bonico just has to avoid those early subs, uses wrestling to kind of neutralize things, land those overhands, and then make it to that second round where I think he'll start to dominate. So I think take it with what you will. I think that's exactly what's going to happen in this fight. To be honest with you, I mean, if you see a pre-hedge, maybe you could do Vera by sub. I mean, just if the odds are really crazy, but I don't know. Yeah, I got to tell you my honest opinion about the fights. That's how I think it's going to happen. All right. Next one, a very interesting fight as well. Sean Brady versus Michael Morales at welterweight. It's such a weird one because I think Morales is decent as a dog if he's a dog, but Brady, I mean, he's got the upside. I mean, my pick so far, I'm leaning Brady. I mean, he's got the grappling edge. It's just hard to overlook that, and so I just kind of lean him, and I think Morales is dangerous though. So I do think it goes over 1.5 rounds more often than not. Right, I think that grappling going to help to neutralize things. Morales should be decent enough to where he's going to look good on the feet and then try to avoid the takedowns. Probably going to get taken down eventually, but it's a tough one, man. I think Brady. I'm not confident on putting him in a parlay necessarily. I think Morales is a good dog, but I think over 1.5 rounds, if you want to sprinkle that, it's interesting. It's a weird one because I feel like I want to have action on this, but it's just it can be a volatile fight. I think Morales is a good dog. Brady could go in there and make him look bad, though. I think he's going to stick to his bread and butter, get him down. But I know, he got finished by, remember the name, Muhammad. That's why he's like, remember the hedge, Muhammad. But I think, Morales is just, but he doesn't have the same grappling ability. That's why the hands can open up because Bilal Muhammad has that wrestling. That's why I think it's a really interesting matchup, though. But I think, just let me know what you guys are going to do. I think over 1.5 rounds more often than not. If you want to have a separate parlay, Morales is a good dog. Or you might want to skip this fight. I think Brady is. Still leaning Brady though, just because of grappling upside. But I wouldn't go too crazy with that. Okay, be careful. Don't put them all your parlays, guys. And pre-hedge or something if you do. Just a little something. But anyway, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates at welterweight. What a banger! Got to go with Prates, of course. I think we're all on Prates. I mean, he's coming in hot. If you want to put it like that, he's coming hot with smoke, cigarette, and smell of whiskey on his breath. Edwards has been inconsistent. I mean, look, he's on the decline. And I think Prates, and I think it does go over 1.5 rounds more often than not. So I think Prates is a good part of the leg, and I think over 1.5 rounds is a good part of the leg. I mean, Leon Edwards, he's fought the who's who and everything, but he can really, it's just the mentality and issue that he has, and also the, when you see someone kind of start to fade. I mean, even Nate Diaz was like, hanging in there, and he could have finished him in that fight. What the hell? He smacked him. He had him rocked. I just think if you give Prates an opportunity to do the same, I think he could actually finish you. So that could be a sneaky one too. Prates by KO might be interesting. Might see a late KO, but I think over 1.5 happens more often than that. Next one, Valentino Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Very hyped for this one. A women's flyweight title match here, man. I mean, I gotta go with Shevchenko though. I like Weili a lot. I'm a big fan of both these girls, man. These ladies are awesome. But they put some life into the women's MMA, man. These are the kind of women's MMA fights we want to see. I think it's a close fight though. I think Weili. I mean, I'm behind her, man. I've been a big fan of hers too, but Shevchenko's got that experience. I think I got to give her a slight edge for that. And they're both durable, so I think it does go over 1.5 rounds more often than not. I mean, look, it's not a hot take. I think it could go all 5 rounds. I mean, they're both competitive, but I think Shevchenko just she's very well rounded. I think Weili, if she gets in her, gets in her face and really lands those hooks, lands some spinning back shit, but it's just I think when she come forward, she could have her chin out. I think she is vulnerable. I think Shevchenko knows what she needs to do, and I think it'd be interesting. I want to see what the grappling is going to look like. I think Shevchenko would be smart to try to use some grappling at least to fake it, feint a takedown. And but yeah, I think I got to go Shevchenko there. So yeah, and probably by decision if you want to sprinkle on that, and over 0.5 and step around. Okay. Last one. Here we go. Final fight. Here we go. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Welterweight title match. Man, I'm not going to do a hot take here. I think Makhachev does get it. I think go over 1.5 rounds more often than not. Makhachev is moving up in weight here. I mean, but he's fought here. I mean, he's a big 155. I mean, it's not. He looks jacked. I want to see the weigh-ins, what they look like. He's a favorite here for a reason. I mean, Maddalena is dangerous, but I mean, I have to give the edge to Makhachev. I mean, he's got a lot of experience there, and I think it does go over 1.5 rounds, like I said. I think late finish happens. I wonder if this will even go over 1.5 rounds. I'm sorry, all 5 rounds, because it's a weird one when you think someone's gonna get finished, but then you could see it actually being a bloody war going all 5 rounds or something. But yeah, I think Maddalena just has to be really scramble on the ground. He's good, actually decent in scrambles. He's got the really good probably at the edge in boxing. But I think Makhachev has that power, and his wrestling it allows him to kind of let the hands go. So I think the smart thing would be Makhachev try to get him by sub. The odds are probably going to be chalky, but I think if you see some decent odds on Makhachev by sub, I think that's okay to sprinkle on. Makhachev money line is good to parlay leg, and over 1.5 rounds in a separate parlay leg. There we go. We did it. This was making the rounds with Courage Ninja May. Please let me know what you are liking, what you're fading, and just sub, comment, like, share this stuff, dude. It helps me get this stuff out. It's all free. I'm just trying to help us to win. Help me help you, and keep it right here.